Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick info before we begin. This post was removed due to karma and preserved as a comment, so it was cut in the end. I did my best to reconstruct the ending based on the comment section quotes and comments. Now let's get started. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Throwaway Mindless Me. 15 years ago, my then 18 female best friend 18 female got pregnant by my boyfriend 20 male of 3 years, and my family knew about it but didn't tell me, so I ran from home. Now we are back in contact after 15 years and my 33 female mom 59 female demands I mend my relationship with the ex-boyfriend and ex-best friend. This is a long story that really started some 15 years ago and I just want to share it. It really impacted my 33 female life, so please bear with me. When I was 18 and into my senior year of high school, I really believed my life was on a good track. I lived with my parents and 4 siblings, 23 male, 22 male, 20 female and 14 female at the time, and spent most of my days hanging out with my best friend, Ashley, 18 female, and or my boyfriend of 3 years, Kyle, 20 male. Both Ashley's and Kyle's parents were best friends with my parents, so I knew both of them since we were in diapers. We spent holidays together, birthdays, and visited each other all the time as we lived in the same town. Ashley's been my friend for 18 years and she truly was the person I trusted with everything. Sometimes our parents would joke that we are connected by the hip as we were together all the time. At that time, I'd been dating Kyle for the last 3 years. I believed he was the love of my life and the one I would eventually marry. We were quite serious and even talked about getting married after he finished college. He was a sophomore at that point. Although I had every plan on going to college, I was quite content with the idea of being married to Kyle and being a stay-at-home mom. My parents loved Kyle and supported our relationship. I really was happy. Note, my sister 20 female was also dating Kyle's brother, 23 male, and all our siblings were very close. One day, at the beginning of the school year, I noticed that Ashley was being very melancholic and detached. After a while of prodding, she told me she was pregnant. I was very surprised because I knew she and her boyfriend broke up a while ago and I didn't know she had someone else like that in her life. I asked her who the father was and she didn't want to talk about it, but in a way implied that the ex was the father. She was absolutely distraught, so I dropped the topic and just consoled her. I was with her when she told her family, and while her parents were disappointed, they promised to support her in whatever she decides. They tried to make her share the dad's name, but she refused and made me promise to stay quiet. They did not know she had a boyfriend. I was there for her for the next 9 months. I went with her for an ultrasound and doctor's appointments. I was there for her when she was bullied in school for being pregnant. I helped her set up the nursery. I was there when she was sick or just felt down. I held a baby shower for her, went shopping with her. I even took some parenting classes with her. We chose names together and she even asked me to be with her in the delivery room. I noticed that the pregnancy was really taking a toll on her emotionally and physically, and I tried to support her in every way possible. She was my best friend, always there for me, and I loved her. Then, like 2 weeks before her due date, I went to the mall to run some errands and ran into her ex. Although I promised never to contact him, the knowledge of my friend's emotional state sent me into a fit of anger and I confronted him. I gave him a piece of my mind and told him what a piece of crap he was for leaving his ex pregnant alone and not caring for his unborn child. He was shocked and said that he had no idea what I was talking about. Ashley never told him about the pregnancy, and when I told him she was 9 months pregnant at the time, he said that it was not possible for him to be the father as they broke up over a year ago and had no relation since then. I was confused, but apologized for yelling at him in the middle of the mall. After that, he became snarky, said some nasty stuff and mentioned that maybe I should ask Ashley's friend Kyle if he's the daddy. I didn't really think about his words in any way. Kyle and Ashley have been friends their entire lives. We were always very close because of our parents' relationship, but they never showed any sign of being anything more. That evening, my younger sister, 14 female, and I were preparing to have a movie night. I began ranting to her about confronting Ashley's ex and his words. My sister, who is usually very outspoken, got quiet and didn't really respond to anything I said. After a while, she excused herself and went to the bathroom. I decided to go and get some snacks and went downstairs to the kitchen and heard my younger sister berating my mother. This part of my memory is really fuzzy as I was dealing with lots of emotions. My sister told my mom about me running into Ashley's ex and his words, and told my mom she no longer wanted to hide from me the fact that Kyle was Ashley's baby's father. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. I stumbled into the kitchen and demanded an explanation. Both my mom and my sister went white as a sheet when they saw me, and my sister started crying her eyes out. My sister explained to me, some things I also learned from other people later, that during the end of the summer break, Kyle and Ashley attended the same house party, got drunk and slept together. Ashley got pregnant and told Kyle, but they were both ashamed and afraid of telling me. They also didn't share this with their parents. Ashley, however, couldn't keep the secret and told her mom and dad, who told Kyle's parents and later to mine as well. This all happened when Ashley was in her first trimester. By her second trimester, all of my siblings, Kyle's and Ashley's siblings, knew about this. Everyone except for me. I simply cannot explain the way I felt. I was physically ill for the next 3 days and couldn't speak to anyone. My parents were apologetic but explained that they didn't want to see me hurt or ruin everyone's relationship. I did not speak with Kyle or Ashley, although they bombarded my phone with messages and calls and also came to my house. I refused to see them. At one point, Kyle's mom came to our house and my mom allowed her into my room. While I was lying in my bed still ill and just emotionally drained from the betrayal, she tried to convince me to forgive them and how Ashley and the baby need me. I said nothing. 2 weeks later, Ashley went into labor. I learned from my parents that she had a hard delivery and needed an emergency C-section. Kyle apparently was at the birth. I was distraught and inconsolable because of the betrayal by both, because I planned to be there and now physically and emotionally couldn't, because I was looking forward to this moment for months. So many reasons. My older sister immediately went to the hospital to be with her boyfriend. My other siblings weren't at home, so I was left alone with my parents. All I wanted was to lay in my bed or cuddle in my bed with my mom and cry all my feelings out. My mom, however, received a call from Ashley's mom. She came to my room and told me that she and dad were going to the hospital. I was perplexed and asked her to stay with me. She said that Ashley's parents need all the support they can get and that we will discuss everything later. I tried to tell her not to go and that I also need their support, but she said not to be selfish and they left. I was left alone at the house and I just couldn't comprehend what happened in the last few weeks. I couldn't believe that my parents would go and support someone who hurt me so much, while I was also here suffering. I don't know when, but my sadness turned into rage, the kind I never experienced before. In a fit of combined emotions and feelings of betrayal, I started packing my bags and decided to leave home. At one point, I started having second thoughts and just sat in the living room feeling empty. After a while, I received a text from my sister. The text said that Ashley gave birth to a healthy girl and that they were both okay. She told me they named her Sarah, the name Ashley and I chose some months ago. She sent a second text a while later telling me that my parents and her were going to join Ashley's and Kyle's parents in a bar in the town to celebrate. I don't remember much after that. I think I was just consumed by everything and my memory is very foggy. I left. I stayed in Phoenix for a while. I got a job at a store and planned to finish high school there. My parents, siblings Kyle and Ashley tried to contact me. My mom was sending me a panicked voicemail demanding me to come back. They also reported me as a missing person, but I don't think it went anywhere as I was 18. Anyway, soon afterward I met Dean, 21 male at the time. He also lived in Phoenix and had a complicated relationship with his family. We really connected and became friends soon. He helped me a lot at that time. I struggled. I had no idea how to take care of myself or how to literally be an adult. He introduced me to his group of friends, helped me finish high school, I moved in with him and his friends. It helped me deal with my pain, and I ended up getting married to Dean and now have a healthy, happy family with my husband and my kids. My life turned out far better in every possible way with Dean than it could have turned out with Kyle. So now to my problem. I had basically no contact with my mother, occasional contact with my father. I did reconnect with my baby sister. Anyway, a week ago we flew back to my home state. I saw my family for the first time in 15 years. I had so many emotions, regrets, pains from the past and feelings of betrayal. During this visit, my mom started insisting I have a sit-down conversation with Kyle and Ashley. She explained that she wants to go back to the way things were. I told her I refused to talk to them. 2 days later, I received a phone call from Kyle's mom. I did not give her my number, and she demanded, yes, demanded, I talk with Kyle and Ashley, as my return caused tensions in their relationship and their emotional health. I called my mom and confronted her. Apparently, she gave that woman my number to heal our family bonds. I told her that she is choosing them over me again. She cried and yelled at me that I am selfish and that she just wants her family back. I hung up. It's been days since I spoke to any of them, although my mom and Kyle's mom keep on calling. I don't know if I should listen to my mom and speak to Ashley and Kyle. So now I question whether I was overreacting 15 years ago, and I am questioning now whether I am truly being selfish for not actively trying to repair the relationship. Am I? Well, OP, to keep it short and simple, no, of course not. Here's what I would do if I was in your shoes. I'd go back to no contact with everyone that betrayed you, everyone that made you feel bad, everyone that lied to you and hid things from you. And there is one thing I would tell my mom and Kyle's mom. I'd tell them to go F themselves. That I'm never talking to them again, or Kyle or Ashley, and I really don't care about their relationship or if they're having trouble. Honestly, OP, I don't understand how your mother can be such a horrible person. It pisses me off that she first went to quote-unquote support her friend, and then she basically went out to celebrate that you were hurting, heartbroken, and were betrayed. So yeah, OP, in summary, I'd go back to no contact with all of them. Or at least on a case-to-case basis, you know, considering your sister. Anyways, what do you guys think OP should do in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Riri202 says, your mother hasn't changed. Her priority is still her friends and their children. It certainly isn't you. She showed that at the time and she showed it again now. She doesn't respect you or your boundaries. She certainly feels no regret. Cut ties. Speak to your niece if you want, but no one else. Your mother will never change. You were the victim in all of this, and they are too self-absorbed and selfish to see it. Your family is toxic. I've read this post multiple times and honestly, just run. Your mother doesn't value you. They showed no regard for your emotional well-being or mental health. Only your younger sister showed a little. I mean, they even went to the hospital and then out to celebrate the baby's birth. It's like your pain was nothing. They have all betrayed you so very much. You deserve better. Keep your chin high and walk away. Learns from experience says, sounds like a clear confirmation that leaving your parents behind 15 years ago was the right decision and you should go back to no contact. Your mom is absolutely trampling all over you. She just flat out doesn't care what you want or need or what's best for you. She only cares about what's best for her, even if it's to your detriment. I'd pack up and take off again and let family, not your mom obviously, know that you'd love to stay in contact. But if anyone brings up Ashley and Kyle, you'll cut them off for good. Also, FYI, the ex-boyfriend's reaction, not knowing about the pregnancy but making a comment about asking her friend Kyle if he's the father, tells me he suspected them of having an affair long before Ashley got pregnant. There's a good chance they'd been seeing each other longer while you were going out with Kyle, and the pregnancy just got them caught. Regardless, you're absolutely not overreacting. Spectrum 2081 says, isn't it funny how they keep calling you selfish because they feel their comfort in having things be not awkward with their friends is way more important than you, your trust, your betrayal, and even their relationship with you? They keep using that word. I don't think it means what they think it means. Angel Cat 00 says, they knew they were in the wrong. They knew and they were too cowardly to face it, so they hid it from you as long as possible. If your mom had her way, you still wouldn't know the truth to this day, so none of them would have to feel guilty about what they did to you. None of them ever tried to apologize for the pain they caused you and the months of lies they told you. Your mom asking you to set that betrayal aside and pretend it never happened so she can have more dinner parties is the selfish one. Alright, well, the community agrees. Screw the family and just move on. And that is exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to move on to the update. But of course, before that, here's another one of my playlists with only updated stories for you to enjoy after this video. Now, let's move on with that update that is 2 years after the original post. My gosh, it's been 2 years since I posted this. A lot of people have been asking me for an update. First of all, I want to thank all of the wonderful people who have been sending me lovely messages. I'm truly grateful. A lot of things have happened in the last few years, not all great. So without making this 100 pages long, here is the update. So, my little sister's relationship with my parents went downhill after I left home, and she went no contact with them when she was 20. I received her number from our older sister, and although it was awkward at first, it's been 50 years after all, we did start speaking again. She understood why I left, but she was angry I left her behind. For years, my sister blamed herself for the fact that I left. She believed, and I think our mom did that her revelation was the reason I left and that I hated her. A lot has happened in her life and it wasn't the easiest. If there's one thing I regret is leaving her behind. She has a toddler and a baby of her own, and I have to say that the kids have helped us bond again. She's my best friend and we talk every day. As for my other siblings, I'm in regular contact with both my brothers, although we aren't close. My older sister and I have a good relationship now, but last year we've had a longer period of not speaking. As she is married to Kyle's brother, it was hard for her to deal with all our and their family drama. We are cool now and I have a lovely relationship with my nieces and nephews, although I didn't go to my niece's birthday party. It just seemed like it would be too hard for me. Now to my parents. This one is a little painful for me to write, and at the time it felt like I was reliving all those crappy emotions I had at 18. So my mom didn't let up with her pestering over me not talking with Kyle and Ashley. Her calls for that continued for months, even after I was back home again. It bordered on emotional blackmail. She blamed me for not honoring her wishes for her friendship problems and health problems, and even accused me of keeping her grandbabies from her. Last June I had my daughter, and it seems like that sent her completely over the rail. What I mean by that is 100+ calls a day, messages every 20 minutes to pester me about random things, sending me updates about people I never want to know about. When she started pestering Dean, I was done. I was afraid to block her, so I spoke to my father. This was probably the first time in the last 17 years that we had a true heart-to-heart conversation. I was emotionally drained, tired from caring for 3 children and just over everything. I probably poured all my feelings and emotions onto him. I don't know what happened to them afterward, he doesn't speak much about it. Her calls slowly ceased, and something else must have happened because in August last year, he filed for a divorce. My father and I are in regular contact now, although I don't think we'll ever be back to normal. Mom is devastated. In August, her calls became insane, and apparently not just with me. I've changed my number since then, and as of February, she has not been able to reach me. I've been told by one of my brothers that she has problems with anxiety and depression and lost a lot of friends. I don't really know whether or not she continues to have a relationship with Kyle and Ashley's family. I don't want to have anything to do with her anymore, nor do I want her near my kids. The things she said to me and about my husband, whom she really doesn't know, and after 15 years of no contact is crazy. Although I regret not having a mom, I feel like trying and fighting to repair the little remnants of our relationship would be a waste of my emotional energy and just pure torture. I simply don't understand her behavior at this point. Although I would probably do it all over again and in the same way, at some moment I did blame myself for essentially ruining the family. She basically has no contact with 4 out of 5 children. It's sad. I can't imagine that. I really do think she has serious health problems that she should address. My dad and brother tried to help her, but it's just too hard with how insistent and vicious she can be. I think she loved how close-knit our families were. We were really close, like family close. And this situation probably in a way impacted the dynamics and her friendship with the other people. I guess she wanted that back. I didn't, nor do I think it was or it is possible. As for Kyle and Ashley, they married and had 2 more children. I don't know what the status of their relationship is now. 2 years ago, I was screamed at that I was causing major problems in their relationship by his mom. I believe my brother-in-law mentioned that they parted for some time at that point, but I never asked for any further information. I've received some calls from Kyle's mom, so I blocked her and no other calls have been received from anyone. I really don't know what they're doing or where they are. The only thing that really happened is that in August, when crap went downhill, my brother-in-law, Kyle's brother, brought me a letter, apparently written by Ashley. When I first received it, I thought about throwing it away, but for some reason, I just couldn't. I've not opened it and really don't know if I want to. I think the reason I haven't read it yet is that I know myself. I know I'd pick my brain around every detail. I know I would reread it 100 times and it would literally haunt me for days. Maybe I'm just not ready for that yet, and I don't know if I ever will. When I met my family again 2 years ago, I was sort of at peace with Kyle and Ashley. I didn't want to see them or mend anything, but I also wasn't raging anymore. I feel like I've moved on from them, but on the other hand, I'm curious as to what she has to say after so many years. However, that in itself could bring back bad emotions. I'm doing okay now with my babies and Dean, who is a real trooper in all of this. Sometimes I truly regret going back 2 years ago, but if I didn't, I'd still be no contact with my siblings. I am definitely going back to therapy. I've been putting it off because I had my baby girl last year, and with everything that was happening, I literally had no time to breathe. But it's necessary, and Dean has also been heavily promoting it lately. I'm trying to focus on my family, and I really hope that this is all behind me. To all of you, thank you again. Well, OP, I want to call this a positive update for you. Maybe someday it'll be happy, hopefully. But in the meantime, OP, burn that letter. There is no piece of information in that letter that could make you feel good about anything that's happened. The fact is, Kyle cheated on you with Ashley, and from that cheating came Sarah. So just burn it. There is no point on reading it. Apart from that, OP, I think you're on the right track again, going back to therapy, focusing on your family. So here's wishing you the very best in the future. Take care, OP, and thank you so much for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.